Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. 45 pages of trash. This is your government, everybody. For those of you that have to pay your taxes, work hard to make sure the government gets their money. This is a grotesque middle finger to decent society. There is no other way around it. Any rational legal mind reads this thing and they say, What? This right here, if I had to distill all this down, it's they're criminalizing facing 515 years in prison. That's right, 515 years in prison, which would be like from Machiavelli to now, just so we're clear. Right, Blake? More or less? It's like from the Machiavelli, when he wrote The Prince 500 years ago, to now. Just that's how long the prison sentence would be. If you don't think correctly. I've read this thing 3 times now. Blake, who is brilliant with this stuff, I think he's read it 5 or 6 times. And we've had some time to sleep on it and go through it. The essence of this indictment is, OMG, Donald Trump believed this about the election, but he was told something different by an attorney general, somebody else, and how dare he continue to think that? This here is a criminalization of wrongthink. I'll go through the details to prove it to you. It is, if you do not toe the party line, you go to prison. And I'll give you an example after example after example. It says that Donald Trump continually pushed these knowingly false claims that there had been outcome-determinative fraud in the 2020 election. Now, excuse me when I say, screw you, federal government. Who are you to say either way about what is true or false? You guys have been lying about everything the last 4 or 5 years. Lying about the laptop. Lying about the southern border. Lying about Ukraine. Lying about COVID. Lying about the vaccine. Lying about masks. Lying about school closures. You guys are telling us what is true or false, and you are going to then use differences of opinions to throw people in federal prison. Page 2 of this indictment, shortly after Election Day, the defendant also pursued unlawful means of discounting legitimate votes and subverting the election results. In doing so, Donald Trump perpetrated 3 criminal conspiracies. Now, time out. After the second time I read this indictment, I said, wait a second. You guys are allowed to write this pile of drivel accusing criminal conspiracies. And the minute that anybody on the center right accuses the federal government of colluding with big tech to try to get Democrats elected, they call us conspiracy theorists. I just find that nugget to be super interesting. This whole thing, in its most technical sense, is a conspiracy theory. Literally a conspiracy theory. Okay, so page 2 continues. Donald Trump is being indicted on 4 counts, and this is just one of them. The document thing is literally, I think, in some ways a distraction. I think Trump can win on the document thing. I think it's just trying to weigh him down, frustrate him, destroy the campaign. We can go. The Georgia one is real. New York is a total thing of trash. This here, Donald Trump indicted on conspiracy to defraud the United States. Really? Conspiracy to defraud the United States. Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. This is the weakest of all the charges. If conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding is actually taken seriously by our government, every single one of these environmental, anti-gun activists that run into Congress, Code Pink, they should all be in federal prison. That's a joke. Obstruction of an attempt to obstruct official proceeding. That's 2. Conspiracy to obstruct and obstruction. The conspiracy one's more serious. Now, this is the one that should just infuriate you. And it's not. Many of your Republican leaders are smugly saying, oh, someone who doesn't put the Constitution first, like Mike Pence, the very stoic Mike Pence. I'm going to do a whole shtick on Mike Pence. So don't go anywhere. Get your popcorn, get your coffee, whatever it is. We got a whole rigmarole on Mike Pence. That guy yesterday brought me to a 10. And it's hard to get me to a 10. I don't like getting to a 10. But what he said yesterday was so pompous. I think the new word we use is sanctimonious, self-righteous. I'll get to that in a second. Conspiracy against rights. What in the fresh heck is conspiracy against rights? 18 USC, Criminal Code 241. What in the heck is that? Conspiracy against rights? Well, it was passed in the 1870s, known as the KKK Act. Not used very frequently. It's hard to prove. But for those of you that watch our show closely and carefully, for those of you that take our warnings seriously, there was a test case. Do you remember the young, innocent man who we tried our best to raise legal support for, who we actually, I think Turning Point donated, $10,000 to his legal fund? Douglas Mackey. Does that name ring a bell? Well, recently, Douglas Mackey was sentenced. Well, I don't know if he's been sentenced. He's been convicted, awaiting sentencing, because he made a meme in the 2016 election. Remember that? Because he made a meme making fun of Hillary Clinton. The Biden DOJ goes and says, we're going to put you in federal prison. Now, we were infuriated about this. Tucker Carlson, to his great credit. By the way, there's clear examples of Democrats doing the exact same thing, but Douglas Mackey, being a white, conservative meme warrior, faces nearly a decade in federal prison. But it was a test case because they indicted him on 18 USC 241 conspiracy against rights, dusting off a KKK era law that allows the federal government to criminalize your activity, your constitutional rights, if it's a threat to the regime, if they can convince 12 people to do it. This is a well-orchestrated legal trial and error. They tried it on Douglas Mackey to be able to use it against Donald Trump. And a lot of people said, oh, the Douglas Mackey thing, he made a meme. How does that impact me? Well, Douglas Mackey was patient zero. Douglas Mackey was patient zero of the dusting off of 18 USC 241 conspiracy against rights. And we're going to go through all these different aspects of this indictment. And I have so many opinions on this. And by the way, we have a very, very big guest coming up in just a few minutes. I don't know if I could tell you who it is yet. It's very big. I think you're going to like it. It's not Donald Trump, but it's big. It's very surprising. I think you'll be shocked, actually, when we talk about it. But I have a lot more to share. This is not normal. This is not ordinary. This is not acceptable. Remember how you feel, and then we're going to talk about what we can do on today, the day that we get to read through how your government wants to indict wrongthink in half the country.